Welcome to Save a Savage podcast. I'm your host, Madai. In this podcast, we will dive deep into the messy, beautiful realities of life. Join us as we engage in real conversations that range from heartwarming to heart-wrenching, all while keeping it authentic and raw. Real talk, real people, real funny, real deep, passionate, Jesus-loving, unapologetically savage. Hey everyone, we are back, and in this episode, I have Jerica here with me. Say hi, Jerica.
Hi, Jerica.
Hi, Jerica.
No, I'm joking. Hi.
And Soraya, we have a little baby with us today. She is knocked out, which is great, because now she'd be like, "Mama, homie." Which is perfect because today we're actually going to be talking about motherhood. Jerica, how many kids do you have?
I have 4. Oldest is 16.
And the youngest is
youngest
4 months?
Is 4 months.
Yeah, so you have 16.
9, 7, and 4 months.
Yeah, and me personally, I have 2 children. One is 9 and the other one is 4. And there's a lot of cool topics to talk about in the area of motherhood. Mm-hmm. I love being a mom. Sometimes it's difficult. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Do you get overstimulated sometimes?
Now more than I did before.
Really?
I definitely feel like it's different this time.
Okay.
And I get overstimulated a lot easier.
Really?
But I think it's because I'm also not affectionate, which is hard for me.
Which we'll talk about that. Yeah.
But I kind of force it for my kids. So when I have Kylie on me, Kai on me, she's on me.
So all her babies. Time. Yeah.
And then Jordan, of course, he still wants hugs and stuff too, but he understands.
He's a 16-year-old.
But then I have that, and then we got to figure out dinner, and then we got to figure out, we have ballet, and then we have rehearsals, and we have whatever sports or whatever needs to be done, and cleaning, and I get like
overstimulated for sure. I didn't like, people say that word overstimulated. I'm like, what does that even mean? I don't get it. Mm-hmm. But now I think now that I have 2, and I know some of y'all have 7, 10, 11, 12, but I get overstimulated sometimes with just everybody asking me questions, wanting my attention. Talking all day. I'm like, and I literally have to tell them, I'm like, y'all, I'm so sorry, I'm being overstimulated. Can we have some quiet time?
I'll say, give me 2 minutes. Just give me 2 minutes. And then they'll just look at me, and I'll be like, all right. And I'll do that. I'll close my eyes, and I'll be like, all right, what do you need?
I know, right?
Because all the questions. And then the no filter.
Oh my.
From them too. Like Kylie asked me the other day.
Don't even get me started.
She asked me the other day, were cars invented back in your day?
No, she did not.
Did you guys have cars at your age? How old do you think I am? I'm like, okay, well, thanks for that. So yeah, we get that too.
Well, Hezekiah did ask me one time, did you guys have telephones when you were born?
Rude.
I'm like, how old are you? I'm like, no, rude. We just had our horses and smoke. That we sent smoke signals.
I'm like, cars? I'm like, yeah. That really hit me. I'm like, how old?
He said, for real though? I'm like, no, child. We had cell phones that just didn't look like these cell phones.
They were in suitcases.
My first cell phone that I can remember was this little blue Nokia. It was tiny. You know what I'm talking about?
A Nokia, yeah.
Yeah, they
had the snake game in it, right?
Yes. It was tiny. I could just put it in my pocket. It was the greatest thing. That was my first cell phone.
Indestructible phones, because those are indestructible.
They were like those things fell so many times and they never ever broke.
And texting with the.
Or just the numbers. Yeah, but the reason. And by the way, I'm gonna tell you a little bit of how I met Jerica. So Jerica and I used to attend the same church. Yes. And we had babies around the same time.
Yep. You were pregnant.
I was pregnant. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Because when is his birthday?
And Kai's October.
And Kai's March. Okay.
Yep.
So he's a little bit older. But We both had babies. I just kind of randomly approached her. I just kind of felt like the Lord was drawing me through to her, and we just kind of had conversations. And then we kind of recruited her to be a youth leader, and then we kind of recruited her to do other stuff and the young adults. So Jerica just kind of came alongside us and started just working, and we were trying to just like really help her to learn where her giftings are and all that stuff.
But then I had another baby.
But then you had another baby, and then I had another baby,
and then you got sick,
and then I got sick, and then it was a whole story.
But
like
we still kept in contact.
We sure did. Yeah. We sure did. But so that's kind of how we met. But in the middle of all of this, we just became mothers of more children.
Yeah.
And me and her have a lot of conversations about motherhood here and there.
Yes.
About random stuff, we talk about because we're trying to raise disciples.
Really, for sure.
And we are trying to raise up and let me make this clear. There's a difference between indoctrination and discipleship. Indoctrination is forced, but discipleship is just showing them how to get there so that they can choose Christ. I don't ever want my children to feel like I'm forcing Christianity. You know what I mean?
That's so important because I remember being forced as a child, and I'm sure you probably have being forced as a child to go to church and we were a Spanish church, so we were there Monday, twice on Sundays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and then the other volunteer things that we lived there at times.
Which is also not healthy.
It's not healthy. And we kind of became resentful towards it. And especially as teens. And then finally my mom gave up trying to make us go as teenagers. We were teenagers when she was just like, all right.
Why did you feel resentful?
Because everything was about church more than home.
Do you feel like the church stole your family in a sense? Like your parents?
Of course. My parents were about that. And then when, we had to present a certain image of us, behave, do this, do that, and it wasn't ideal.
Those unspoken rules, especially, I don't know about y'all, but in Spanish church, we have unspoken rules of things that we are expected to do.
As Christians.
Yeah, right? Yeah. That we don't even speak about it, but it's expected of us. Like, for example, can you think of anything let me think. I'll tell you what it is. You're expected to always have the best behavior.
The best behavior. And like our church, when we were kids, they had the kids sit in the
front.
In the front.
Yeah.
Like, when we were, we were still young.
Yeah.
But we couldn't talk. We couldn't do anything. We weren't allowed to even move.
You can't move. Yes.
You can't do anything.
You will get pinched.
Yes. I was just going to say that. They do the sneaky pinches or the sneaky cocotazos.
Yeah.
You know that. But we had that kind of, we had to, because we were an image to who they were, basically, in the church.
There you go.
That's why we became resentful.
It's a facade, basically.
Yeah. And I remember asking questions about God and wanting to know more, but I remember being shut down because you're supposed to know because you're this person or whatever. But I grew up in and out of church too, so I wasn't always there.
Well, when you became a teenager, right?
Yeah. Well, when that time came, when my mom was into church, that during that time it became a lot. It became a lot because we lived there basically.
And see, that's important. Like in my parenting,
mine's too.
I do not want my kids to resent us not being there for them because we're always at church. Yeah. I love the church, but I am the church.
Yes. And you have to lead by example. So they see things like my daughter, Kylie last night, she didn't want to sleep by herself. I don't know what's going on with her, but she said, she went up to Jason and she said she was scared. And I always teach my kids, what to do when you have fear. So instead of actually telling her what you're supposed to do, and yelling at her, I said, well, how about we pray? Yeah. And I said, but who are you? And she was like, I'm a child. And I'm like, a child of who? And she was like, a God. And I'm like, and God gave you a spirit to be able of authority. I said, let's use that, and I kind of led her that way.
I love that.
And sure enough, she prayed. She was happy. She gave me a big hug, and so it's like that to me is different than actually forcing
100%.
You need to be praying more. You need to be. I feel like that is where they get resentful.
Absolutely.
God, and they have
it's not encouraging.
No, it's not.
It's forced.
Yeah.
And for me personally, I mean, I love that my children love to worship and we listen to worship in the car and we, and they are here at church and they help when, but I don't force them to do it because I don't want them. And we don't want to live in the church.
No.
Us personally, and we are pastoring a church, but we don't want to live in the church because like you said, our children will become resentful because instead of being parents, we are just always trying to serve or something.
Trying to tell them how to which is you guide them through life, but to try to force them to always be
perfect.
Perfect. And you're not allowed to feel feelings because you're supposed to have God and God is supposed to take care of everything. That's not the way it works even for us.
Absolutely.
So imagine a child who doesn't and you're forcing, but you're supposed to be doing this. That to me, that drives me crazy, especially with a teen. He's a teenager.
Sure.
And there's a lot of encouraging things I have to say to him or kind of, whatever. But he can come up to me and say, "Hey, Mom, I'm feeling like this. Can you pray for me?" He actually, we have moments like that. Or he'll be like,
you have that. It's good that you have that kind of relationship.
Yes. And he'll come up to me, and if I get overwhelmed or if he sees, that I'm not okay, he'll say, "Mom, what do I need to pray about?" And there's times that... And that was from just me showing him life, kind of just watching me pray, watching me read my word, watching me do all these things. I try my hardest not to force anything on him.
That's good.
And instead, I kind of just guide. So there's times where he'll be like, "Mom, there's soul ties I need to break. Let's pray." And he'll yes, and he'll come and we'll do that. We'll pray about it. We'll do. And I said, and he'll be like, "And I know God told me that I'm gonna be okay, so I'm gonna just leave it like that."
Okay.
So and that's from a teenager.
Good.
That's from a teenager. So to me, I'm trying to do the same. Open relationship is huge.
Yeah, like being open to a relationship with your teenager.
Being able to trust him to come up to you to talk to you. It's important.
Absolutely.
For that, you start young.
That's a huge accomplishment.
It is.
Period. Because teenagers, there comes a point that they don't want to talk to you no more. No. But I think the reason why they don't is because they see that you're
judgmental, I think is what
that. But if you don't have any investment. And the relationship, like if you're always going to discipline them, but you're not going to give them the time of day, you're not going to talk to them, you're not going to spend time with them, fulfill their love language, like they feel resentful towards you. And so they don't open up to have conversations with you. You know what I'm saying?
And in a Spanish household, we weren't allowed to express ourselves. We weren't allowed to talk about anything. So we have to be perfect in church.
Yes.
But at home, we don't conversate. We don't talk. You don't explain to us, why.
So if you were going through something, you couldn't.
We weren't able to talk. And now with my kids, I made that a big deal. We're going to conversate about everything. I feel like my child should be able to come to me and express how he feels, even if it comes to a discipline. Like I always say, it's not disrespectful to me if you come up to me and say, "Hey, Mom, I didn't like that."
Sure.
And you express that to me. "I don't like the way we do this." Even when it comes to Bible study and everything. Kylie's all for it. Kai's all for it. Sometimes Jordan's like, "Mom, I learned that already." So he'll come up to me and he can express that to me, you know, and we'll be like, "Okay, well, let's do something different." Or I'll say, "Well, how about you teach that this time?"
Yeah.
What about we do it that way?
Sure.
So you can, and he'll say, yeah, okay. Kind of that way. Or sometimes he'll be like, "Mom, I'm just not, and I have to respect him in a way because he is going to grow up to be his own person.
And that's good. That's good. Like the respect starts from them when they're little. Yeah. We cannot expect our children to respect us when we don't respect them at all.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And that's good because I had a conversation with Hezekiah the other day and I told him, I'm like, well, first of all, I apologize to my children.
Oh, yes. That's big.
Right. I'm big on that because I'm a jerk sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
And explaining. Even if they did do something and I have to discipline you, I'm going to explain to you why. I'm not just going to do it.
That's good.
That to me it's like, no, now you're upset and you don't know why. You don't even understand what you did or what happened. So I'm gonna explain it.
So there's no learning from it.
There's no learning.
There's just being corrected with no learning behind it.
And then what happens is that and sometimes kids are impulsive.
Absolutely.
They don't realize what they did, and you're disciplining them, and they're just like confused.
What? Like why?
Yeah. And then it's like, if it happens again, you're disciplining me again, but you're never explaining to me why.
Right.
What happened?
Exactly. And I'm big on that. And the other day I was being a jerk to them because I was screaming at them, and I was overstimulated, and I screamed at them. And then I'm like, we got to get out the house. So I get out the house, and we walked around a little bit, and I was able to like calm my brain. And then when I got in the car, I was like, look, I'm really sorry that I was yelling at you guys. I was being overstimulated. I know that it's not your fault. And I want to apologize. And I told Hezekiah, I'm like, if I ever act a certain way and I'm being disrespectful towards you, or I'm hurting your feelings, I need you to vocalize this, because a lot of times as parents, we don't see that we're doing it because we're just trying to parent you.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. And sometimes we have, especially again in the Hispanic, and I'm not saying this could be any.
Sure.
But
just with Hispanics, sure.
My experience as a Hispanic, we weren't allowed to be like, oh, you're a child, stay in a child's place, which means what exactly? Because what are you teaching me? That I need to shut down, that I'm not allowed to express myself, that I'm not. So that's a child's place. So that's where you grow up. One day you're going to grow up, and that's what you're going to do. You're teaching Hezekiah right there that he's able to vocalize his feelings.
Yes, I'm trying, because especially him being a boy, it's different raising a boy than a girl, because like my daughter is I feel like she's very in tune with her emotions. She literally will cry and she'll tell me straight up, you're being mean to me. You hurt my feelings. Hezekiah won't. He just he shuts down a little bit. And then later he's like, that was mean, Mom. But I'm trying to like push him, because I feel like when we're raising boys need to learn that it's okay to have feelings. It's okay to cry. I never stop him from crying. I say, go ahead and cry. Get your cry on. I'm like, if you need to cry, you need to get it out of your system. And he cries. Because I don't ever want him to like withhold his emotions as a man.
Yeah, as a man.
And then explode.
That's what happened. So again, my oldest is 16. So, you know, he's too cool for tears, I guess, in a sense. But his middle name is Jeremiah. And I remember
Weeping
my aunt,
prophet.
Yes. And I remember my aunt when he was little, he used to cry so much. She goes like, you named him perfectly. She used to say that you named him perfectly because he weeps. And I said, yeah, you know. And as he got older, that quickly stopped. And he would only cry in front of me, you know, at times. But I remember we had I'm gonna say debacle, even though that's a weird word. But I'm gonna say that. I remember we had an issue, him and I, and I was upset. And I wrote someone, and they said, well, have you prayed about it? And so I did. And I prayed about it. And then I went up to him, and I said, and I went to the room, because I got him upset. And I went to his room, and I looked at him, and I said, you do not have to be strong. You do not have to show that you can't cry. You do not have to show that you can hold your emotions. Who are you trying to who are you trying to prove that to? Yeah. You know, or impress or anything like that. I said, you are allowed to cry, even being a man. And he grabbed me, and he wept on my shoulders, and he cried and he cried and he cried. And I'm just like, don't ever feel like you can't show who you are, you know, you can't show that you're emotional and whatever, because the world tells you. How old
was he at this point?
This was recently.
Oh,
this was
snap.
Probably that, and before
he's gonna be embarrassed 16. After he watches this.
He's not allowed to watch this. No, I'm joking. But he turned 16 in March 31st. But so this happened probably a little bit before that, so when he was 15. But yeah, we had an issue, which is hard to, and I'm not going to bring it up because that's his. But he held a lot in. Yeah. And once I told him it was okay, he released so much. And I told him, I said, why do you feel that you need to put on this strong? I said, you are strong because God made you that way. Sure. I said, and you feel the need to have emotions or to feel like you need to express yourself, do so. Yeah. I said, and that's when I told them, because I remembered my aunt's words. And I said, your middle name is Jeremiah, which is a weeping prophet. I said, which means you go ahead and cry if you need to cry.
Sure.
Go ahead and be. I said that does not make you weak because I struggle with tears. You know that. I'm not.
I think I've seen you. I've seen you cry one time in my own time. Maybe once, twice.
And that's hard for me.
Okay, we have a couple.
Even when I'm by myself,
Sure.
it's so hard for me to just release. And I don't want that for him.
Absolutely.
And I feel like and that's probably something that I also put on him, you know, because how many times, I don't even know if he's ever seen me cry, but how many times, and that's probably something like, well, my mom doesn't cry.
Sure.
So why would I, you know, I'm a man. And I try. With Kai, he is, I mean, you know his personality, strong-willed, but he is an emotional kid, and he will cry. But he will also have moments where he feels like he needs to hide things. Like he'll hurt himself, and he'll come down to me afterwards, after he's dealt with it. He had a messed up finger. I mean, he had blood inside his nail and everything.
Oh, my gosh.
He didn't come to me until afterwards, even though that's a whole different, that's not emotional.
It's a personality.
But it's like, and then he'll come to me, he'll be like, Mom, I was upset, and you'll see like his, so what happened? Why were you crying? And then he'll show me, and he'll be like, but I got this. And he'll beat his chest, really, literally will beat his chest. I got and I was just like, and then to him, it's just like, I got this, you know, just because of that. But he will cry if he sees something. He came to me crying because somebody said no to one of the animals on one of his YouTube videos. He watches. I don't understand why they have animals if they're going to just say no. And I'm like, bro, bye. But he has moments, that's funny, you know, with that. So, but my girls are emotional.
Yeah. And like I said, I think it's harder for women. Like, well, that's the thing. That's why it's so important for women to nurture their sons and their daughters. Hello. Girl, I know you did not just take a 15-minute nap.
She said I sure did.
Good night.
I hear y'all talking about us.
Good night. Go back to bed, baby. No? Okay. We'll come into our conversation with us. Are you going to talk to us, Soraya? Are you going to talk too? That was the shortest nap in the entire universe, little one.
She's too nosy.
She is so little. I just cannot with her. Are you my friend? You going to be my friend? Yeah. I poked you when you were in the belly. I did.
That's how she remembers.
I know. She's like drama. Anyway. No, but I try to teach my son that it's okay to cry. We try to teach them that it's okay to express their emotions. However, you have to express them respectfully because a lot of times it just comes out the way that he wants to get it out. And I'm like, yeah, that was not appropriate, my friend. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so, and I was going to say that's why it's so important for moms to be present in the lives of their children, moms and dads both, right? Mm-hmm. But I'm talking about it from the perspective of a mother. We are to be the nurturers. We are the ones. So I feel almost like the dads are the ones that plant seeds, and the mothers they water it.
They nurture it.
Yeah.
They take care and care for it.
I feel like my husband is more nurturing than I am.
Yeah.
Oh snap. Ooh, hold her.
So we're just gonna let her.
Okay. Make sure don't drop the baby. Okay.
She's got her.
I feel like my husband is a little more nurturing than me.
Really?
I don't know. He's more of an encourager than I am. I feel like I discipline more than I encourage. Yeah. Maybe that's a balance that I need to work on. But I'm like, but I'm the one that I don't know.
So Jason is more. He's a softie. I'm the more, but I'm also nurturing. So I don't know. Like there's certain.
Well, I mean, I nurture, but
there's certain things that they'll come to me for.
Yeah.
But there's certain things that they go to dad for.
Really?
But there's times like emotions, I handle them well. Jason does not. He gets overwhelmed and whatever.
Really?
But the kids know that. So there's times that Kai got hurt in school and he waited until he got home and just ran to me and started crying. And I'm like, what's going on? And Jason's like, I don't know. He was just fine. And he was like, I was waiting to come home to tell you. And then he just spilled everything out. And I'm just like, moments like that just show me that sometimes they just need their mom.
Absolutely.
But Jason is also, he's there. I mean, they know to go to him for other things.
That's good. He's a present dad.
Yeah, he's a present dad. And not just being there. He's actually a present dad.
Oop.
You want me to take her?
She's like, you could take her. You could take her.
Like, you could have her.
No, yeah, for sure. Both. That's why both being in the like dads and mom being present for the children are important, because I feel like we both we do different jobs in our family unit, right? And like I said, for example, like dad, since she was very little, he would tell her, you're beautiful, you're my little beautiful baby. And then she's gonna get in front of us. Okay, you're gonna come in. Okay, you're gonna come too. Okay, this is a mom podcast, so I guess you're gonna be in here with us. So yeah, so her dad telling her that, and then me watering it. Watch this. Brielle, are you beautiful?
Yes.
Period. Say period. No, she says period sometimes. It's so funny.
Something to say.
What do you have to say? What do you have to say, chiquita? So yeah, no, motherhood. I don't know. Motherhood is so rewarding and so tiring at the same time.
This time around, I feel so exhausted.
Mommy, careful with her head.
I feel so exhausted, and she is not just. You see this? Look at this.
She wants it so bad.
That's
like,
not
give me the
yours.
mic, mother.
But she is. I don't know if it's because of my age or what it is, but this time I just feel so much more exhausted and overstimulated.
Well,
and
yeah.
And she doesn't sleep, as you can see.
Girl,
really
that was
long.
a cat nap.
It's because she's nosy.
Yeah, that was a whole cat nap, woman of God.
Because she's nosy.
No, it is. It is rewarding to. We were just talking about it. Like, it's so crazy to watch our children grow, because it's rewarding to see them grow and to become these
so
beautiful
sad.
people. But it's so quick, so quick. I cannot. I feel like Brielle was just a baby not so long ago, and look at her now.
I know. Even me, I haven't seen her for a few months because we went to dinner.
Bum.
Hey. And Kylie's in. It's busy.
No, she's been busy.
Kylie's been in a play. You want me to put her there? Okay.
I tell my kids all the time I was having a conversation with someone, but the thing is, moms are chefs.
Jason cooks.
Well, so does my husband, but we're chefs.
Yes.
We're
teachers. We're doctors. We're nurse, whatever you want to call it.
We drive them around. We chauffeurs.
We feed because
we feed them. We take up all these roles.
All of them.
And for me personally, like when I had Hezekiah, I didn't feel super overwhelmed. But I feel like little by little, I kind of started to lose who I was, because my entire identity became being a mom.
Yep.
Which that's something that we need to, like, I don't know, like after a while, after I had her, my husband was really pushing me to like, go hang out with your friends.
I'll do that.
Go do a hobby, or get out of the house, go get your nails done or something. Like,
it's hard because I feel like I lost myself being a mom. Everything became, and I love it.
Sure.
Everything became about them. Like you said, we're the therapists, we're their chauffeurs, we're their chefs, we're their everything. Because Jason didn't always cook. Now he cooks. I don't even cook
praise
anymore.
the Lord.
But
Praise
it's
the
because
Lord.
I'm busy because Miss Thing won't let me. But but when it comes to that, all of that, you do lose yourself. And you tell yourself, I'm not going to. I'm going to focus on me.
Sure.
Then you hear a baby cry, or somebody else is
Baby
arguing,
cry. Or somebody else's baby crying.
Somebody else, because your baby's big. But yeah, like I feel like I lost myself a lot. Yeah. And every time and that's why when I found out I was pregnant with her, I was kind of like in that I need to find myself mode.
Yeah.
I was in that mode, and I was getting ready I'm like, I need to do inner healing. I need to focus on God. I need to focus on myself. I need to find who I am again, because I completely lost myself.
Yeah.
So when I found out I was pregnant with her, those thoughts and those emotions came in because of that, because I'm just like, how can I find who I am if everything now has to be
about her
and getting everything ready for her, and finances and this and that. And
we're also accountants.
You?
No,
oh, yeah, we are.
Parents.
Oh, of course we are. Of course. It becomes, oh, God.
We're everything to the
We're the bank, too.
We're definitely the bank.
We're the bank.
We're definitely the bank. So, so being a Christian mom and trying to be an example for their children, And even if you're not a Christian, obviously, you're trying to do better for your children, or at least I hope that we are all trying to do better for our children. One of the things that we talk about all the time with my husband is my children are never going to have to deal with some of the things I dealt with, because we cut off the head of the giants and the generational curses in our houses. You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh, that's so big. I'm going to say this like my oldest, his father's not in his life. But one of the things that he always says to me is, Mom, I'm going to be a good father. I'm going to prove it. I'm going to prove it.
Come on.
And I always say to him, but be a good father because you simply are going to be. Yes. Because to me, I feel like he's trying to prove a point because of his absent father.
Absolutely.
If that makes sense.
No, absolutely.
You know? And I said, and he told me himself, I'm going to break the generational curses. Yeah. I'm going to stop that because, you know, his father wasn't involved and his father's father wasn't involved.
Sure.
Whatever. But that's something that's not, it is my issue too, but it's also something that I can't control in a sense now. You get me? Like back then, of course, I made decisions, but. Oh, yeah.
She likes hair.
She likes to snack whatever's in her way.
No, that's big.
It is big. It is big. So generational curses are something like me. My family and my dad was a alcoholic and he was out in the streets and doing whatever. And you know, my sisters also follow that step, but they let go. Now they're into church and now they're sure. focusing on God and everything. But those generational curses, and I keep saying it ran in our family. But it stopped
until it ran into me.
Right.
Yeah. Come on. No, absolutely. Like my kids, there's things that they will never have to deal with because we dealt with them.
Yep.
And then because of that, their generations don't have to deal with.
Yep.
So there's still some things in our family line that we're like, there's still things that need to be broken. But we are trusting that the Lord is going to do what he's going to do and that our generations are going to see the blessing of the Lord because we are serving the Lord. We're following his word. We're trying to do the best that we can as parents. Like we're literally all just trying to do what we can out here.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, I realize, I know there was a lot of things that I probably like grew up thinking about towards my mother. Like, why didn't she do this? Why didn't she do that? Why didn't she treat me this way? Why didn't she do that? But now I realize that we are all just trying to do the best that we can with what we have.
That's so big.
Oh no, what happened?
That is so big because I remember being upset with my mom as a teen. And I look back now and I'm like, why?
Yeah, give it to her.
Why was I don't know why. I thought she could reach. But
like,
I don't understand why I was so upset with her.
Put it in her mouth.
There was you could just hand it to her. She'll
play with it.
Play with it, yeah.
Good job. Oh, okay. Just leave it there, mommy.
Yeah, but there's times that even with my mom, I'm like, how could I ever be upset with someone who, like I said, my dad wasn't there. He was, you know, I mean, they're still married today, and he's into church now. But
but emotionally,
physically either. He was never there. He was come home at 4 a.m. and that's all we see. We see him opening the door for him and he'll walk in stumbling because he was drunk. And
does he talk about that stuff?
He doesn't have a lot of memory of it.
Oh, okay.
He does not. I think he blocked off trauma with. That's his way of blocking off trauma. Sure. But right now, his main thing is, I want to be there for the grandkids because I wasn't there for you guys, you know? And so for him, that's where it's a big deal. But he doesn't, he remembers certain things. And I think he used to get upset with my sisters because that's what they would smoke and they would do things like that. And they're just like, you did it, you know? Like
that's another thing.
You did it.
That's another thing.
And my thing was because I never did, you know, I know addiction runs in my family.
Sure.
Big. So I stopped it. I'm not going to, my kids don't have to worry about that.
Come on, same.
So I decided never to smoke. I decided never to follow that line because I see what it did to us.
Yes.
You know, so for my kids, you don't have to worry about it. They could look at me, Mom, do you ever smoke? No, absolutely not. I did not. I never did.
And, you know, let me make this clear. A lot of people, and there's a lot of Christians that do not believe the generational curses are real. Oh. Generational curses are basically and partially habits. Habits that we are inheriting to our children. that need to be broken. And it's not just we're not just gonna pray them away. There has to be action behind the prayer.
Yes.
We pray about it in the spiritual,
Yep.
but in the physical, we have to do something.
Yep.
In my family line, there's a lot of alcoholism. I never touched it
Yeah.
because of that, and because of that, my children don't even know what it is. I had to kind of explain to Hezekiah something the other day. Ay, Dios mío. No, you gotta. Ay, Dios mío, ella mami quiere su mamá. But yeah, and I had to explain. There's still things that Hezekiah, he's just never gonna know about because we just already broke that in the family line, and so those things are really important. But we're almost out of time. But we wanted to just touch a little bit on motherhood and how we're trying to raise our children. But anyway, and the other side, like I said, there is a lot of I had a conversation with my kids about feeling unappreciated
Oh.
sometimes.
Okay.
Because girl, we're doing a lot all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes we don't even get a thank you. I'm like, yo, like,
You get but I didn't want that. I want this.
I wanted
and
this. No.
I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. Or
Yes.
what gets me mad is if I'm trying to plan a fun day
give me a more.
and they don't want to go, and I'm just like, are you kidding me?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Yes. No, but just all that to say, dads, children, my love, stop walking in front of the camera. Thank you. Be appreciative of your mamas. Okay, Mother's Day is coming up, which is perfect, actually, now that I think about it.
This is perfect.
Now that I
I
think
realize
about it.
This was not planned.
No, it's not. I just kind of thought about it because I'm like, well, we're in a stage of life where we're both moms of kids. Mine is, anyway, we're mamas and we're all right. Our whole identity is not being mothers, but a lot of what we do is being a mom, and being a mom is our ministry.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
A lot of times I think we are like sit down, please.
Girl.
Wanting the Lord.
Don't be rude.
Oh no, what's going on, ma'am?
All right.
A lot of times we want the Lord to send us out and to evangelize and all that stuff when the Lord is like, take care of your house first. Yeah. Your children are your arrows. You are to prepare them. You are to sharpen them.
That's a ministry.
Absolutely. Mama, stop walking in front of the camera. Thank you. Children are our ministries. Our houses are our ministry. Yes, they are our first ministry. They are where we build the altars to the Lord. They are. Our children are. This is what we are doing right now in this season. And I am thankful to the Lord that He chose me personally.
Yeah,
to be my kid's mama.
To be my kids, to be moms in general, because people struggle with that too. So I would never take that for granted.
Absolutely.
And I'm trying to enjoy every minute of it because now I know how fast it goes, right?
Like you just blink and you're like, they're grown.
Like she's 4 months already. You remember at the retreat, I was still pregnant.
Yes. I was still poking your mama's belly. So, all of these things are so, we just kind of want to just talk a little bit about motherhood. There's so many parts of this that we can literally break down piece by piece, but so much like the discipleship part. We can totally do a whole podcast on discipleship, but I wanted to touch just a little bits of it. Maybe eventually we'll do like the parts, like a series of parts of motherhood. But for all the mamas out there, and you are amazing. Yep. You are doing what God has called you to do. Oop. No, she's fine. This is what motherhood is all about. You have any idea how many times I ministered with the baby Carry On? I was up there playing the keyboard and singing, and Hezekiah was inside my little thing. Yeah. Yes, and youth services, I would like, because this, it's okay. I would say this, partially the reason why Brio is my little worshiper is because I worshiped while I was pregnant with her, and I was worshiping with her after I had her. So she's always been exposed to the presence of God. So she knows what it feels like and how to experience the presence because of it. Yeah. But anyway, listen, for all of you guys who are mamas, like I said, you are amazing. Motherhood, yes, you are loved. Motherhood is not easy. Motherhood is not easy at all, and it's not for the faint of heart.
No.
And I understand like the tiredness of having babies and all of these things. And I just want to let you know that you are not alone.
No.
that number one, the Lord is with you, whatever stage of life you are at, and your motherhood. Number two, if you need community, reach out.
Yes.
I am always more than willing to talk to mamas and pour into them and love on them because I get it.
And love on the babies.
Absolutely. As I've been holding this little tiny one, even though she just has mommy-itis. You got mommy-itis. Yes, you do. You do, baby. You do. You do. You're my friend. So yeah, having a tribe, and we talk a lot about community because community is big.
It's huge.
If you didn't have your best friend, if you didn't have the people around you,
or
like
that saying, did you know that flamingos lose their color because when they have babies, they lose the pink, they turn white because they give their babies everything. And then after
do they
years,
really?
Yes, they do. And after a few years, they get their color back. That to me, that's motherhood. That's parenting.
No way.
Yeah,
I did not know that.
Yeah,
and that's true. You pour into them so much. But the reward is amazing.
It is.
The reward is amazing. So mamas, if you're out there and you need prayer, you need to reach out to us. We get it. We've been there. We're both
still here.
Yes, we're still here. You're going to make it. I'm not going to lie. There was a seasons that I did not know if I was going to make it because I was just so overstimulated. I wasn't sleeping. I was like a zombie. I wasn't even eating properly. Yeah. The terrible twos were crazy, girl. I didn't speak that over her, by the way. I didn't want to. I used to call them the wonderful twos, but at some point it was crazy. Ma'am. Ay, Dios mío, qué
She got something to say about them terrible twos.
I know, right? No, we're not going to get there yet. But anyway, we'll break this down a little bit more. Thank you, Jerica, for being with us. Thank you, Soraya. Thank you so much. Thank you for being in the podcast. Yeah. I do baby talk. I'm sorry. I'm really annoying. You should hear me talk to I still talk like that to Brielle. I just cannot. But anyhow, just wanted to encourage you guys. And for those of you who do not have your mothers here anymore, we feel you. We not understand that there's the pain, and don't take your mamas for granted. No. They literally have given their entire lives to raise you, to love you, to take care of you. And even after, when you become adults, like your mama has poured into you even after.
Even still. That's why her middle name is Carmen.
It's a different kind of pouring into, right? When you're an adult, they become, not because they have to, but because they want to be in your life and they love you and they want to have a relationship with you. But anyway, God bless you guys. I hope that you tune in and you're going to hear all the baby cries in the podcast, but they're so stinking cute. I want to just, yes, ma'am. God bless you guys. Bye. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget that you can watch this entire episode and all other episodes on our YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment. We would love to hear from you. Find us on all social media outlets at Safe But Savage Podcast and on all streaming platforms at Safe But Savage Podcast.